All right, this is it. 1983 Honda XL250r. Look at that. David wanted a dirt bike. We're gonna get David a dirt bike, right, bud? We're gonna take this thing, we're gonna slowly restore it and go ride it. This is gonna be some good stuff. Beautiful little bike. It's a beautiful bike. All right, bud, we got it loaded up.
Yeah.
What do you think? We go ride it?
Sure.
Got a place for a Ride Utah public landowner license plate frame. Let's go ahead and let's go put some gas in it and take it home and buzz it up and around the block, huh? This thing has been well maintained. You can tell it's got new plugs, new wires.
It's really good.
Carburetor looks brand new. Cylinder looks great. Chain still got paint on it from last time it was taken care of. It's got rear pegs. Rear tire. We're gonna have to do a fork boot here. And I don't know a lot about these forks, but I don't think it's gonna be too hard. I think we can slide those forks out and put new boots on. That'll be a good project. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's go ride it. Nope.
You sure?
Yeah, it's not full. He just wants to keep shutting off because it's got a backflow preventer. Fill it till it's all the way to the top. Because I know you've never ridden one of these.
Not one of these.
Not one of these. These are old. Key on. It's in neutral. Run off, right? So you can either turn the key off or you can just kick that down. If you get into trouble while you're riding, you kick that off.
And then just steer it off the road.
And then we'll just kick her on. Oop. Help if I keep it on. Sounds good. Sounds dang good. Okay, back on this 1983 Honda XL250r. We picked this up earlier. The seller says, you know, I just had some trouble shifting it. This is hard to shift. And so he wanted something more like a four-wheeler that he could ride. So we picked it up, got a pretty good deal on it. Good little machine. It's in pretty good shape. We've got to put some shift boot or some fork boots on. Chain is good. We may have to, you know, lube it. New rear tire. But took it for a little ride and noticed that it was running hot. I mean, I was getting some steam off the cylinder there, and not steam but smoke. Took it out down a trail here along a canal by where we live, and came to a stop, and it was idling high. It was revving high. So I knew we were getting, our air fuel mixture was off. And I reached down under here and I tapped, it's still hot because I did ride it. I tapped the air fuel mixture screw and the idle went right down, and I kind of messed with it a little bit and got it to where the idle was, where I felt comfortable riding it. Rode it back to the garage, let off the gas, and it just died. And so let it cool a little bit, and the seller, you know, was telling us that they had just had this at the shop, had it serviced. The guy had it all apart. Oops, sorry about that, got interrupted there. Anyways, I brought it back in, you know, and I started looking around, and the guy told me that he just had it serviced, and it was his, you know, friend of the family or cousin or somebody who just knows everything about motorcycles, and that's awesome. And I reached up under here, and I don't know if you can see this, but that intake manifold boot was not tightened down. That's loose. The air filter inlet, look how loose that is. See that clamp right there? How loose it is. So we were sucking air there. You know, top of the line mechanic just about melted down this cylinder head. So I had to go on eBay, ordered another boot. I'm gonna come back in here and kind of tighten these clamps up, although I'm gonna have to take all this apart. Look at this fuel line's coming off. So I got a little bit of work to do on this. Other than that, it runs good. But look at how close that is to coming off. This just, see right here, look at that, just slides right off. That's gonna be great when we're out riding on the trail. This boot over here, let me go around to the other side. This manifold boot in here, I don't know if you can see, it's a little hot, but I don't know if you can see that. Yeah. I didn't catch that when I was looking at it. This rear right here. Oops, sorry. This is just loose. See the clamp? That's just fantastic. So, loose carburetor, that's gonna do it every time. So I think what I'm gonna do is tighten this up. For the time being, I'm gonna take this front boot off and get this one up in here and see if there's a way I can make it work. I do have to get some measurements. I don't know if this is a 28 millimeter, 30 millimeter, or a 45, although it looks like it's a 28. But all in all, pretty good little purchase, clean bike. For the most part, well maintained. Just had a mechanic that didn't know what he was doing. I messed with that air fuel mixture on it. I'm gonna have to reset all that now. What a pain. Okay. One more bolt here. That one might be. That one is a Allen wrench. Top one wasn't an Allen wrench, which means it's been replaced. Well, turns out I didn't even need an Allen wrench. It wasn't even finger tight. Great mechanic. Great mechanic. I think that's gonna come. There's our 2 bolts that we had. One had an Allen wrench, the other one was a 5/16. Yeah, that's fantastic. So loose. Need both hands here. Okay. Loosen. That one was actually tight, believe it or not. Should not be that loose. That's a huge issue. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to get in there and use both hands again. Okay, so I was just running around looking for a new boot. This is the old boot. This is an offset intake, and oops, sorry. And it sits, if you look and see, it orients the intake off of the manifold over towards the carburetor. So you've got your manifold intake on the left side of the machine. The airbox comes out of the right side of the machine. The carburetor sits in between the two of them. This is what was causing our air fuel mixture problem. And they don't make this anymore. So we're gonna have to order an aftermarket one, and in the meantime, we're gonna JB weld that sucker. I went ahead and bought some new clamps. While I was at the store, I ran into the guy who bought this machine from me. He asked how it was. I said, hey, I put about 10 miles on it, but then the carburetor fell off. He felt pretty bad. And, you know, after talking to him, I don't think that it was really his fault. I told him, don't worry, dude. I'm not gonna, I've got a great deal on the machine. We're not gonna hold you responsible for that a little bit. But what we are gonna do is, we're gonna switch the clamps up, because I think this aftermarket carburetor that he put on is a 28 millimeter intake, and I think these are 30 millimeter. And so when this old clamp was clamped all the way down, it just wasn't doing the job. So it should have been caught by the previous mechanic, but it wasn't. So we're gonna figure out the best way to put this first I thought I'd put that screw up, but it looks like that's gonna get in the way of our choke. So we're gonna turn this around, or orient it out the other side maybe. I think what we'll do is we'll just, that's gonna cause the same problem. So I'm gonna have to go out this way and work on that and just clamp it from the other side. That's gonna be what I have to do. A little bit different clamp, not the best clamp, but best for this situation, really. So let's get that in there. And then clamp the snot out of it. You probably had the same troubles I'm having. We're gonna work that around until that sits in there, and then we're going to take this and clean it up. JB willed the snot out of that. All it has to do is sit there. So we'll see if we can make that work. Stand by. Yeah, so from this side, it's not perfect, but I've got that carb sitting in that boot right. It's actually tightening down. Yeah. Okay, so that's gonna be much better than it was. That's tight now. So now I need to work on this. That all looks good. So let's see if we can't make something work there. That vibration, you know, will be a problem. I may have to figure something out there. I am gonna order an aftermarket. And from China, they don't sit exactly right, but they may work. See what this is gonna take a little bit of carb cleaner here. Wire brush it and get it nice and clean. And of course, by carburetor cleaner, I mean brake cleaner, because that's what I had. The rest of this doesn't look too bad. So the idea now is going to be creating a single boot. Yeah, that's great. Use terry cloth. That's fantastic. I'm gonna clean all the terry cloth off my part cheese. Somebody, you can tell, back in earlier time of this thing's life, somebody had the same problem here, and they glued that on the inside. And of course, that's just holding all that terry cloth. So I'm gonna run this in to the house since my wife's gone, and use some Dawn dish detergent and clean that up with a green scrubber. Might just take this too and clean it up. Look how terrible that looks. Anyways, I bought another clamp. I think we're gonna have the same problem on both sides, so we're gonna swap the clamps out, glue the snot out of these two pieces together, and then cross our fingers that it holds for 100 miles until the new one comes. Okay, well, I'm going with JB Weld Extreme Heat. This is made for intake manifolds, exhausts. I've never used this before. Let's see here. Take that off. Put this through. See what we're dealing with here. I did read the instructions, but you know, they didn't mean anything to me. Okay, so it said mix all that up really good. Need 2 hands for that. So prepare dirt debris, remove dirt debris, loose contaminants, we did that. Sandpaper, open small cracks. Hey, we've got that taken care of. Mix JB Weld Extreme Heat thoroughly. Use product generously, working onto surface. Holder cracks, pit seam, repeat as needed. 2 to 4 hours. All right, so we're gonna let this sit overnight. So I guess we will mix that up and see what slather it on. Okay, well this stuff does set up well. I mean, I used just a paint can opener. And I went heavy with it, extra heavy. You see what I did there? I went all the way around, gave some rigidity. Looks kind of funky on the camera. Pitted and stuff, but I can add another layer later if I want to. But that may work, as long as it has to hold. That's all it's got to do is not suck air, hold the carburetor on. I spread that stuff out over most of it to give it just some strength. I want to hold that carburetor up. But this stuff's hardening fast. It says it hardens in an hour, cures in an hour. I'm gonna let it sit overnight. I don't dare try and work with it until this is rock solid, but apparently this stuff gets rock solid. So, fingers crossed. Okay, well, kind of impressed. That's on there good. So I'm gonna go and try and, it's only been about 2.5, 3 hours, and that is rock solid. It's not budging. I'm gonna go try and put it on. First ride, David's first ride.
Whoa, wait, what's that there? Wow, that was cool.
I couldn't see because I was scared that.
That was so
Yeah, you scared me all right.
Yeah.
No, that was so cool.
That's pretty good first. Look, it's doing all right. Give it some gas.
Can I get the four-wheeler now? Dad, can I get the four-wheeler out?
Good. Do it again. This is his first time on a motorcycle that's bigger than 80 cc's. That's pretty good control there. That foot up, boy. Get that foot up. Gonna wreck that way. Don't do that. That smile on his face. Look at that. Shelby, look at. This is great. One kid was a natural and the other one just backed over a car. What? Come here and look.
What's that noise?
Hey, go around the block. Yeah, you need a helmet. Smart kids. Hey, hey, hey! Stop! That's just great. That's idling high. That's idling high. That twist throttle sticks. Good. Let's check this throttle again. Yeah, I think that's our problem. Why we haven't been able to get that feeling right. You got to force that twist throttle up. We're gonna have to adjust that. We need to adjust this. Dude, it feels good, doesn't it? That's a really nice bike. They ride so much better than the new ones. Good job, kiddo. Good job. Okay, you want to just pull it back into the garage, or do you dare? You trust it? You want me to? Dude, that's awesome. You're good. All right, back on this XL250r. This thing has had quite a week. My boy decided that he was going to get a little rambunctious with it and wrecked it. So, bent the handlebars. Got to get new handlebars. And we got a broken tail light. And I was able to fix pretty much everything else. I do need to get new handlebar, rear view mirrors. I had to order, actually I went to the junkyard and found another XL500. And it had a headlight, so I grabbed the headlight off it because he kind of smashed that up a little bit. He's hurt himself, but he was a little worried that he might have hurt the motorcycle more than him, which is a good sign, I guess. But we're going to try and fix this. I have still ordered that insulator boot for the carburetor. I don't want to ride it too much until that comes in, but the insulator boot was ordered from Brazil. It was $94 for like a $10 part. It hasn't come yet. But that's a very important piece to this puzzle, so I figured I'm going to buy an OEM insulator boot. Thing runs great. Runs really good. So I'm going to try this Loctite. I've ordered some new lights, but in the meantime, I just want to see. I'm going to do a little experiment. Loctite plastic bonder. Supposedly you're supposed to put this activator on. I don't know how well that's going to work, but that's plastic. And then you put the glue on it after it sits for 30 seconds with this, and then we'll see how it goes. Okay, well, it's holding it up. Now we wait. Sets in 24 hours, and I don't need to use this thing, so we'll see what it does. But I am ordering new ones. The downside is you got to run the wires all the way through and then down to the stator. I don't want to do that, but I will if I have to. As long as I get turn signals, I think what I'll do is I'll throw some baking soda on this. Baking soda will set super glue. I assume this is similar to super glue. And then I'm going to get a plastic bonder, plastic welder, and weld that entire crease. I think I can do it without damaging the wire. Yeah, we're going to try it. Okay, YouTube. It's been like 2 weeks. That part right there had to come from Brazil. I got a new O-ring, put some silicone grease on it. Been working on this carburetor today. I need to put a filter in here. I'm gonna put a filter in. And I think we'll be good at that point. We're gonna put this thing on, Looks a lot better than the other one. Cost over $100 to get that here from Brazil. But that's an exact OEM piece. I could not find one in the United States anywhere. So we're gonna get this project wrapped up. And now all I need after my kid wrecked this thing is a new pair of handlebars. I've got a new headlight for it. But I think if I can get this going today, even with some bent handlebars, I'm gonna take this thing for a ride. Okay, we got it all back together. That boot fits a lot better than the other one did. Got this back on here. Took the carburetor bowl apart and cleaned it. It was leaking a little bit of gasoline. I think what happened was I kind of straight piped the fuel feeder, so I had to add that. So I added that, took this apart, cleaned it all out, found a little bit of gunk in the seat, or in the main jet. So I got all taken care of. So this thing should start and run. It's been on for an hour and hasn't overflowed. So I just checked the oil. Let's make sure she's in neutral, because that's gone. I can't tell. It's not neutral. There, now she's in neutral. We turn the key on, switch to run. That's how it's done, son. That's holding. Maybe we got a little air leak. Maybe not. I dare ride it with a phone in my hand. I had to turn the camera off while I pulled the clutch in with my right hand and shift the gears. Steered with my knee. That was fun. It's running good. I don't see any issues. It sounds good. It's thumping right along. I think we'll better take this thing out for a ride today. I'm just kind of moving along in second gear. Canal right next to my house. All in all, with the exception of the little hiccup that my son had wrecking it, and the need for some new handlebars because those are not right, and a couple of small pieces, cosmetic stuff. This is a pretty good little motorcycle. I'm gonna enjoy adding it to the stable. And maybe find a few more. They're really fun to ride. Anyways, thanks for watching Ride Utah TV. Make sure you like and share and subscribe. And sorry about the lack of videos this month. Been really busy, but hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks for watching. if that machine